Verstappen will start on pole for the final race of the 2022 season. He is dominated by after beating Red Bull teammate Sergio Perez in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix that saw Mercedes' threat fade away. They weren't able to replicate their Brazil Abu Dhabi practice pace. Onto the floodlights came on at the Yas Marina on Saturday and were usurped by Ferrari and Red Bull, and they were the top two teams. Through the Q3 finale quickly became a head-to-head battle between Verstappen and Perez. Perez had been the fastest driver through qualifying, but world champion Verstappen aced both his laps in the final segment, both of which would have been good enough for pole, and eventually beat the Mexican by 2/10. Following the team orders dispute of last week, Verstappen also gave Perez, who was aiming to clinch second place in the championship, a toe to help his lap. Leclerc locked on points with Perez in the standings, finishing third for Ferrari, just 0.04 of a second off the Red Bull, and Carlos Sainz will join him on the second row of the grid, which gets away at 1 o'clock UK time tomorrow. It's in a top two by two for the top six. Lewis Hamilton escaped penalty shortly before the shootout over a red flag scare in final practice, and George Russell could only manage 5th and 6th for Mercedes, 8/10 off. So yeah, a bit of a disappointing day for them. And Lando Norris was best of the rest in 7th for McLaren, who enjoyed a strong qualifying with Daniel Ricciardo also in the top 10. But the star of the shootout was undoubtedly the retiring Sebastian Vettel. Having dodged traffic in the final sector, he stormed out of Q1 and then Q2, where it kind of was a bit weird. It seemed like he was getting blocked by a Red Bull on the same corner, the last corner on pretty much every single lap. But anyway, he dodged out of Q1 and Q2 in his Aston Martin and finished 9th, 5 places higher than teammate Lance Stroll. Fernando Alonso was a surprise absentee from the final part of qualifying, and while Kevin Magnussen followed up his first pole with a Q1 exit in Abu Dhabi in 16th. So yeah, definitely a bit of a contrast of emotions there between the 2 weekends. But anyway, the talking point heading into Abu Dhabi was whether Mercedes could challenge Red Bull again after claiming their maiden 2022 win in Sao Paulo, and they got an ideal springboard on Friday by topping the first practice session, then being competitive in FP2. But from the first lap in Saturday's shootout, Mercedes weren't there. It's just heard its world toilet day, so I think we need to put this one in the toilet. Toto Wolff said, I think we just didn't get the job done. We went backwards and Ferrari did a little step forward. Mercedes say the Yas Marina circuit was thought to be one of their worst of the season, but still expected much more than nearly a full second deficit, was the W13 losing half a second on the straight and not making up enough time in the corners. We thought this would be a difficult race, but through the weekend so far we weren't looking like we were 8/10 down, so a bit of a surprise in qualifying and to be so far behind, Hamilton said. He added bouncing his back with a vengeance, and that's definitely losing us time. Mercedes will hope their high downforce setup though aids tyre management in the race, although Red Bull certainly go into finale as firm favourites. Perez looked to be the man to beat through Q1 and Q2 before Verstappen, who'd been unhappy with his car and had reliability issues at the start of Q3, provided another reminder of his talent. I'm very happy both cars starting on the front row, he said, moving on from the team order out. But of course we want to win the race, but we also want to finish second in the championship for Checo. So that's definitely a great start before tomorrow. I still expect it to be a good battle tomorrow, but at least we have both cars there and we can do what we want. The double world champion said after the last qualifying of the season, and yeah, just kind of capping off his season really. Dominant pole for the dominant champ. But yeah, before I go, let me run you through the grid tomorrow. Verstappen winning, of course. Yeah, I mean, like I was saying, it's kind of like in Q1, Q2, it looked like it could be Perez, but Verstappen putting it off when it matters once again. Perez P2, really good job from him as well. Looked fast, maybe couldn't find the face in Q3, but ahead of Leclerc, which is the important thing, and Red Bull probably will have better pace. So yeah, Ferrari, I think they kind of will be pleasantly surprised they're ahead of Mercedes. I don't know if that'll be the case in race ones. It certainly didn't seem like it yesterday, but we'll have to see. And then you've got Hamilton 5th, Russell 6th. Yeah, I mean, I think they'll be really disappointed. Hamilton, I think he made a mistake in the last sector, which maybe cost him 3/10, so that could have brought Mercedes a bit closer, maybe even put him above Carlos Sainz on the grid. But yeah, still a bit of a disappointing day for Mercedes, you'd have to say. And then you got Norris in 7th, good job from him. Max Jackson maximum again, Ocon in 8th, and yeah, he just kind of needs to stay there, and it should be comfortable for McLaren, for Alpine, to retain, with Alonso moving up to 10th. Ricciardo 13th, he did a good job today, but unfortunately with that grid penalty, yeah, kind of hinders him. Vettel in 9th, what can you say about that man? Just simply outstanding, what a performance from him. And yeah, I've said it plenty of times, this is the best he's performed in years, and it really is too early for him to go. Tsunoda 11th and Schumacher 12th. Decent jobs from them. I would say both probably outperforming their cars. Stroll in 14th. Yeah, I don't think he did a bad job. Just Vettel was on crack today, the last race, whatever. So yeah, Zhou in 15th. I think he did an okay job. It's looking tough for the Astons tomorrow, for the Alphas tomorrow with Aston, potentially scoring some points. And then you've got Magnussen in 16th. and Gasly in 17th, Bottas in 18th as well, just not really matching the pace of their teammates. It would be a frustrating way to end qualifying for the season for them. And then you've got Albon and Latifi and Williams, kind of ending the season as it starts as the slowest car, and a bit of a sad season for Williams, really. But anyway, guys, that's it for you. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, note, thoughts, comments down below, and follow this show for daily F1 news, and subscribe to my channel, I would greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace.